Hello, esteemed members of EFAP. Longtime fan here. I hope I might just take this opportunity in this venue, this medium video, to share briefly, unusually brief. I have a tendency to be Mahler-esque in length, ask family and friends. But I wanted to take a brief moment and express some criticisms as well as appreciation for you guys and your channel. I started watching Critical Drinker years back when he first got his start, criticizing, I don't remember, The Last Jedi or one of the garbage Star Wars films. And from there, I inevitably found my way to EFAP and to some of the other members of EFAP, like Mahler. I sometimes watch his videos, especially the long length ones, because him and Little Platoon are probably my favorite, because that's how I think. That is, I'm thinking through like 5 things while the movie's showing me one. So I have, like, my criticisms end up being like longer than the film basically too. But I'm going to keep it brief here. So for the most part, I've significantly enjoyed you guys. And I've found joy when it comes to EFAP in particular. That's what I want to speak on briefly here. I have found a tremendous amount of enjoyment in both listening to you guys, I don't know, shoot off the cuff. I can't think of the axiom or whatever at the moment, the turn of phrase, but just shoot the shit effectively. Watching movies and going like scene by scene through them and making all sorts of funny, cynical, and critical comments. Very sardonic. Molto bello. Beautiful. Love it. As well as also, I've really appreciated how you guys and some of the EFAPs will cover things that are going on in the movie industry. I think that is useful both for the average viewer who might not be aware of those things and not have some of the connections some of you guys might to people in Hollywood or whatever. As well as I think that once you are on the radar of some of these media companies, like I think Critical Drinker has been kind of in the crosshairs for, you know, calling attention to the message and such. If the media companies are watching your guys' stuff at all, which as long as they are, the EFAP things a lot of times might not be likely. I can't speak to the likelihood, but I think besides informing the viewers, it also stands to possibly shift how the media companies do things. If they see that you are aware or you're calling attention and awareness in other people to things that they, you know, would hurt their business, they might shift the nature of their business in a way that we would prefer strongly, as viewers who actually like a good story, God forbid. So those are the things I really appreciate. And for a while now, I've moved away, and it's a combination of all of the EFAPs seem like they're like 5 hours long instead of like 2 or 3, like I feel like they started as. And maybe I just had more time back then and I'm misremembering. But the 2 things that have off-put me from your channel, if I can be honest, is 1, just the length. It makes it very difficult to watch when I'm involved and very busy in my own life, especially if I want to watch other things on YouTube. But secondly, and this is the reason I honestly make this video, is it became extremely distasteful when you guys started becoming effectively Entertainment Tonight. This whole celebrity gossip bullshit, which is just so effeminate and pathetic and lame. Like, oh, well, this person said this, and you guys trash talk a bunch of fellow YouTuber, reviewers who, generally speaking, I have been on your side in the discussions and debates with or about those people, where I think they're generally fairly incompetent. They are, very willing to shill and not offer genuine criticisms, even where it might help the public and the fellow viewers. I have almost all of the same criticisms, but number 1, I can't speak for other people, but I certainly didn't arrive at or stay at your channel to watch celebrity gossip. Oh, he said this. Well, he said that. Oh, I think this about him. And secondly, there have been enough times where even if the given party that you guys are debating with or you are discussing, even if I share 99.9% of your views on them, there will be instances in the conversation where even Mahler, who I generally have great respect for his person and his opinions and his intellect, will be completely dismissive of one of these people, even on a point where they actually have a solid point. And again, sharing a very similar mindset to Mahler and the Little Platoon, both in length, like verbosity, and just the way I analyze things, I sympathize. Again, I share most of those views. But when I notice that not only are you guys becoming just like garbage trash talking people that doesn't actually provide any meaningful, useful information to us, the viewer, but beyond that, you're also basically making fun of them as stupid, even where they have a legitimate point. Even if that one single point that they make is buried beneath a mountain of trash of other bad points, there will still oftentimes be at least some tiny kernel in some corner, and you guys will write off any opinion that they have as always basically dumb and garbage. And I find it intellectually offensive to watch, to be honest, because I have so much respect and appreciation for you guys and what the content that you put out otherwise. It is just, I find it almost stomach turning. It is just so intellectually disgusting to watch someone, especially someone intelligent, not only just playfully mock people for bad opinions, but kind of make personal attacks on them as a person. Like, instead of saying this opinion is stupid, basically saying they as a party are stupid, which may be true, but you don't really have a place to say that. It doesn't really lend to the conversation or aid in any way. But more than anything, it's, again, they will on occasion make valid points, and you guys gloss over it and mock even those. And I know that I could make a convincing argument in those instances that would make you guys see, okay, there is some point of view there. I feel like it is a point of view that you could be convinced that there is some kernel of legitimacy to. But the fact is, without someone stepping in and bridging that gap, at a distance, you guys just talking with or talking about these individuals that are arguably significantly less intellectually capable, it's just, I find it offensive to, it's offensive to watch a dumb person call a smart person an idiot, or call a given thought or action of theirs idiotic. But I think it's even more offensive to watch a smart person who's, again, supposed to be smart, mock someone stupid even where they have a legitimate point. Because then they look almost even more stupid and tasteless than the dumb person themselves, to be completely honest. And that isn't, in general, the view I have on you guys, as I think you must surely recognize by this point in the video. And I recognize, again, I have a hard time not going on at length. The video timer's up here for me. But I think I'll pretty much leave you with that, is one of the reasons I made this video, besides I've shared this sentiment sometimes in the comments, but I don't know how likely that is to reach you guys through your editor and with many, many, many comments. But I felt like in watching a few of your EFAPs on Mahler's other channel, the ones that are anywhere between about 50 minutes to like an hour and 15 minutes roughly, and they go over typically bad movies. I would argue probably the worse, the better, because then you guys are groaning and moaning at the same time I am as I'm watching even just the clips of brief scenes and you're describing what's going on, and I'm face palming as hard as you guys are verbally. That's what I really enjoy. That's what brought me to your channel, besides news about the industry, which I've kind of fallen away from. I don't have as much time for that in my busy life. But I appreciate that too. But I feel like you guys have moved away from reasonable length discussions about the industry and of, you know, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, playfully mocking and bouncing off each other's comedy about bad movies, or really movies in general. That's what I came to your channel for, and that's what I still enjoy when I watch it. But when I've increasingly seen, whether it is out of boredom, a lack of creativity, or just following suit kind of ironically in Disney's footsteps and creating a sludge pipeline of content even where it's not good so you can provide for yourself, which is somewhat understandable, but again, would be somewhat paradoxical, or at least, you know, ironic relative to your criticisms about Disney. But I had renewed interest and joy in watching some of those videos, like, what was the one you just came out recently? Megan, you know, that video. I had a blast watching your review, or whatever you want to call it. I suppose just we'll call it EFAP, where you go through every scene, every frame effectively, and you make playful criticisms and talk smack. That's fun to me. That's a good time. When you guys are acting like a bunch of bored fishermen's wives who are gossiping about the wife next door and how stupid and lame you think she is, in effect, I don't find that entertaining. In fact, I find that very intellectually off-putting. And what I typically come to your channel for is more intellectual discussion. Even if it's comedy, it's a little bit more intellectual. So with that, I'll leave you, having still gone on probably 5 times longer than I hoped here, or approximately. But I just wanted to share my strong appreciation for you guys' channel of EFAP, as well as your respective channels for the members that have involved themselves in that. But I did want to mention that it really just was brought into even greater contrast recently in appreciating some of your old school, some of your more palatable content, that it's just that much more off-putting that you guys, it feels like, have been flooding your EFAP channel a lot with almost exclusively overly long videos and that are like, 3 to 5 hours in length. And a huge majority of them now seem to be, again, just smack-talking stupid people, which, if they're stupid, if you really are more intelligent, why would you need to make that clear? Why would you need to go out of your way to try and put them down, essentially? Because trust me, their opinions already, again, we're generally in agreement on this fact, their opinions pretty much make clear that they're not very intellectually capable people, and a lot of times also not very courageous. And I don't mind when a given point, or many points of theirs are pointed out as being dumb. My main criticisms and concerns here are when you start making personal attacks on their character, which, even if I agree with the assessment, I think is still immodest and shallow. And again, not very intellectually high. And then also when you get too much in the habit of being in a group of yes-mans where you all share a lot of the same opinions, so then when a rare opinion comes around from one of these dumb people, you guys all just immediately gloss over and continue to just mock them completely without giving even their slightly valid points some sort of legitimacy and an ear to hear them, basically. That's all. Sorry I've gone on at such length. I hope you guys are all, and any family members you have, experiencing good health and joy and everything and all that. And I don't expect I'll end up on the channel, although honestly, for a bunch of years now, or at least a year or two, I thought, honestly, I don't think I'd be the worst guest in terms of my analytical ability, my outlook, sense of comedy, or whatever. But I'm not gonna self-fillet here. I've had some ideas for movie reviews, and 1 or 2 that I've kind of written out or audio noted rough draft of. And to be honest, I think I'd like to submit that, or I probably will, to Mauler, Little Platoon, and maybe Critical Drinker for your guys' input. But that's, I think, probably just another reason I reach out here today, is besides wanting to offer personal criticisms as well as appreciation, gets my face out there, I suppose, to you guys. So I will keep in contact if I do indeed make some of those reviews. And then you can decide from there whether or not you think I'd be an interesting or worthwhile or whatever guest. But in the meantime, much appreciation. Wish you guys all the best health and success.